Hello, my friends. Chaim Malevsky here from Chabad Family Programs at the West Side. The 20th day of Tammuz. We just left the Torah portion of Pinchas, which I'm going to comment on a very powerful lesson I heard from the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says that if you read the Torah portion, you see all the Jewish holidays, every single one that's in the Torah is quoted and brought down and mentioned and reviewed in this week's Torah portion, which was last week we just read on this past Shabbos on Pinchas. And then when the holidays come about, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchas Torah, Pesach, Shavuos, Shmini Atzeret, and Rosh Chodesh. So all the holidays. So when they come about on the real calendar, we extract a piece of the Torah describing the holiday from this week's Torah portion, from Pinchas, and read it on that holiday. So that's good to know if you're ever in the synagogue on a holiday and they read the Torah. You know they're reading from this week's Torah portion, Parshas Pinchas. Good trivia to know. In Rosh Chodesh also, the first day of the month. So now, the Rebbe says that this concept that we read all the holidays, about all the details of the holidays in this week's portion, and then later on celebrate them, is reminiscent of the idea of preparing for something before it happens. And the Rebbe quotes the known Talmudic quote, Misha Tarach be'erev Shabbos, Yochal b'Shabbos. One who toils and prepares before Shabbos will eat on Shabbos. Basically, you get what you prepare, you sleep in the bed that you made, etc., etc. So this is a concept that's a well-known concept, and they're just bringing it here to our Torah portions too. And it says that during the week we have this concept, we call it chitas, in which we learn the daily Torah portion, Chumash, Tehillim, and Tanya. And the daily Torah portion we learn, Sunday we learn the first portion. The Torah portion is divided into 7. So we learn each one of those 7 on the 7 days of the week. On Sunday we learn the first portion, Monday we learn the second. So the Rebbe says, look, we're learning about the holidays on a regular weekday, and then again we read it on a regular Shabbos, so that we should be well prepared for it when the holiday comes. And of course you learn about the holiday when the time comes later also in more halachic detail. But this is the idea. It starts off with the idea that you prepare before a holiday for the holiday. And it involves effort, it involves toil, working. So the Rebbe moves on and says, and we notice in the world, the general situation in the world is that for someone to succeed at something, at most anything, he needs to toil. There needs to be effort involved. And so the Rebbe says, why is this? Why do we need this effort? Why not? Why doesn't God just give us everything on a golden platter and hand it to us without any effort? And the Rebbe concludes, the Zohar talks about the work that we do and things that we earn are things that we appreciate and things that we get as a handout with no effort. It's called Nahama de Chisufa, which literally means the bread of shame, which means that we don't appreciate it.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom Uvracha. Saying a Dvar Torah now, live. Facebook Live. Chaim Baruch Alevsky. So the Rebbe says that everything in this world, we need to first toil and earn it, and then we appreciate it. Because if we get it without earning it, we don't appreciate it. That's one thing. Now the Rebbe moves on. takes it a notch up. So how about challenges? It says everybody in this world often faces obstacles or challenges in their lives that may seem difficult or unsurmountable. What about those? Why does God have to give those to us? And what do we do? And the Rebbe in this talk is talking about in our goal, our goal being the personal and communal, to do what God wants, to live a godly life, to observe the Torah and the mitzvot. So the Rebbe says there are often obstacles in a personal way that seem to interfere with what we are supposed to do. Hello. What we are meant to do, the life that we're supposed to live. And also in our communal matters, if you're in charge of an organization or running a business, and you see that you're trying to do what God wants, but it's difficult. These are called obstacles, nisyonot. In Hebrew, nisayon means test or challenge. And the Rebbe explains many times the word nes or nisayon also means to uplift. It means like putting up a flag, a post, to uplift. So when we're challenged, we're uplifted. But here the Rebbe says another very interesting thing, and almost like a trick, almost a cheat to get out of the challenges, if you mean it well. The Rebbe says that the purpose of the challenge is to awaken within us inner strengths, koches pnimim, inner strengths, koches atzmim, essential powers that we have that we may not have known we had to overcome these obstacles. And this is true in any discipline. When you're exercising to make muscles, you have to overcome the norm, the level that you're regularly able to do in order to generate something better and bigger. And so too spiritually. So he says that since the purpose of the obstacle of this test that God gives a person is in order to awaken within them the greater spiritual powers. So this is what we should do. The Rebbe says we should pray to God and make it happen, that God should recognize our commitment to following through on what we need to get done, personal or communal, to follow his path. And once we make that commitment, we wouldn't need to actually face the challenge in real life anymore, because all he wanted was for us to overcome, to awaken within ourselves this power that we will march forth and overcome the obstacles. So once we decide, once we make that hachlata, that decision that we will overcome, that should be enough. And we shouldn't need to face the obstacles themselves ever in real life. The Rebbe explains that this is the difference between a birur and a nisayon. The birur, basically most of our lives, our interactions that we have in our lives that may be challenging toward Judaism, are called birurim. A birur means a clarification. It's something that I have to work through, work with, and elevate and grapple with. That's a birur. But a nisayon, a test, a challenge, is not that. It's not something that we work with. It's something that we just completely just hover over and pass through and don't interact with at all. Ignore it, and it disappears. And the Rebbe gives an example of Avraham Avinu, our forefather Abraham, when he was on his way to his most difficult test of, God forbid, sacrificing his son, Isaac. So the Satan, the negative power, tried to interfere and try to distract Abraham. And a river formed right in front of him, right before the mountain on his way. And he just kept on going as if the river wasn't there. And then it disappeared. So too, says the Rebbe, just like that river disappearing, so too, any obstacle that is a challenge to what God wants cannot truly be real in its essence. It doesn't have any mamashus, any reality to it. If our approach is that it's an isayon, that it is a test that God wants me to overcome, if we have that approach, that attitude, it'll disappear and we will overcome and we will achieve it. That's the story for today. Hopefully the challenges won't be too many and too difficult, and we should have the ability to commit to overcoming them and not dealing with them and not getting stuck in them so that they disappear. God bless you. Here.